Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt for your Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, ask a question, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. This is the third of 4 Mardi Gras episodes that I'm doing, and on this episode I'm wearing a purple Mardi Gras Comic Hero tee. Now purple in Mardi Gras lore stands for justice. And you know, with a lot of adversity that we may have here in the world, we need a lot of justice. If you would like your very own Mardi Gras Comic Hero tee, you can find them on my website, IamTheComicHero.com. for $20. This one, along with the gold and green ones, are $20. Now next week is going to be the last Mardi Gras episode of the year that I'm going to do, and I'm going to wear a Comic Hero tee that I've never worn before. I really had a lot of fun making this one, and it looks almost similar to this one, but the only difference is it's a different color. Now I'm not going to go into depth as to what the color of the shirt is or what it looks like. But I just want y'all to come on back next week and watch that episode. It's going to be great. But if y'all have seen it, y'all probably friends with me on Facebook and you've liked the Comic Hero fan forum, or you probably gone to the shop section of IamTheComicHero.com and have seen it. But yeah. Now on this episode, I'm going to talk very briefly about Mardi Gras parades. Now, parades are one of the most popular things about Mardi Gras, although it didn't really start out that way. Now, again, as I said on episode 386, Mardi Gras really started out as a one-day Catholic holiday that was celebrated in France, and then it somehow got to Canada, then it got here to the States. Now, over time, right after it got to the States, before parades were formed and organized, there were Mardi Gras balls. Now there are Mardi Gras balls that are still being held each year, and a lot of them are being held here in Louisiana and in Mississippi and Alabama. But let's be real, no one does Mardi Gras parades and balls like Louisiana. And parades came later, and there were quite a few parades that happened last week. There was the Crew of Centaur parade in Bossier City and Shreveport. There was the Crew of Janus parade in Monroe, and then a few weeks ago there was the Crew of Darbone parade in Farmerville. Now this weekend, weather pending, is the Crew of Gemini parade in Shreveport and Bossier City, and then also the Crew of Highland parade in Shreveport. But then the granddaddy of them all is in New Orleans, and that's next Tuesday. And that's going to be around the time that I do episode 389, which will be the last Mardi Gras episode. And the awesome thing about parades is that now any parade, much less a Mardi Gras parade, there's always a Grand Marshal. Always. It could be a Mardi Gras parade. It could be a Christmas parade. It could be a Thanksgiving parade. It could even be a homecoming parade. I mean, for high schools and colleges, there's always a Grand Marshal, and then just like any other parade, there's always floats. There are always high school and collegiate marching bands, and the awesome thing about Mardi Gras parades is catching beads. I mean there's some folks that throw beads. There's some folks that throw coins, and then they throw cups. And a lot of them throw candy as well. And then there's some other parades where they've thrown other things that I'd rather not discuss. But if you happen to be down here in Louisiana or Mississippi or Alabama or anywhere else that they may have Mardi Gras parades. You'll have fun, but also be safe. Remember, we're still in a pandemic. And you can go to a parade and still practice social distancing. I mean, it's been done. But the most important thing is to have fun. But that's the Mardi Gras parade in a nutshell. I've actually been to some Mardi Gras parades. I've been part of Mardi Gras parades when I was in college. I marched in the Crew of Janus parade in Monroe 3 times. And let me tell you, looking to the side of we marched all the way down Louisville, all the way from Natchitoches Avenue in West Monroe, all the way through the through Antique Alley, and then across the Lee Joyner Bridge, and then all the way down Louisville Avenue. And let me tell you, a lot of folks excited about Mardi Gras, bar none. All right, it's time to go get a free t-shirt. All right, episode 386, I asked true or false. Amanda Waller made her comics debut in the pages of Suicide Squad. Well, the correct answer is false. She actually made her debut in the first issue of a limited DC series called Legends. And it wasn't until 1988 when Suicide Squad hit bookstores. Well, the correct answer is false, and 10 people have answered correctly. And because they've answered correctly, the name's been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Cassia Puckett from Tampa, Florida. So congratulations, Cassia. You win a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode. And just like every question I've asked this month, because it's Black History Month, every question is going to do with black comic book characters or black publications. All right, here's the question. And this is a very easy question. I'm really expecting a lot of folks to get this one right. And I'm also expecting a lot of folks to answer, because unless you lived under a rock, everyone knows the answer to this question. Oh, by the way, it's an X-Men question. Who is the first black member of the X-Men? All right, if you're not sure, then here's some hints. The first hint is that this character made their debut in John Size X-Men #1 in 1975. The second hint, this character was once married to the Black Panther. And then the third and final hint, Halle Berry played the role of this character in the first 3 X-Men movies that came out in 2000, 2003, and 2006. Yeah, you should know it by now. All right, everyone who answers correctly will be entered in the drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. All right, now the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight is usually reserved for fans to make requests, but every once in a while I like to come up with one. And this one features 2 very vampy characters from 2 different publications. One's been around for over 50 years, and the other one made their debut in a Deadpool miniseries, and also was once married to Deadpool. Representing Dynamite, we have Vampirella. And representing Marvel, we have Sheikla. These 2 are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today is Sheikla versus Vampirella. Sheikla possesses superhuman strength and speed, enhanced agility, reflexes and endurance, shape-shifting, mind control, and the ability to project regular and ethereal flames. Vampirella possesses vampirism, shape-shifting, immortality, superhuman healing and regeneration, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, night vision, flight, hypnosis, and telepathy. Who will win? This fight would start out with hand-to-hand combat. This would prove to have very poor results because they'd be on par with each other with speed and strength. Enter the mind game. Sheikla would enter Vampirella's mind and cause her to freeze up. Sheikla then attempts to project ethereal flames at Vampirella, but to no avail. The latter somehow escapes the former's mind control ability enters Sheikla's mind and wins the fight by causing Sheikla to spontaneously combust into her own ethereal flame. Vampirella wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed that Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight. Now, if you want to make a request of your own, here are the rules. There has to be at least one comic book or manga character involved in each fight. And they can go up against another comic book or manga character, a video game character, or a science fiction minded comic book character, or science fiction cartoon character rather. Now, make sure that your fight request makes sense. I mean, it really wouldn't make a lot of sense to pair up, I don't know, Jimmy Olsen versus Mephisto. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So make sure your request does. So, I gotta ask, any questions?
Questions I walk around in. Questions I didn't thrive in. Questions I will survive in. Questions.
All right, I only have one question this week, and it's from Manuel Rock from Natchitoches, Louisiana. He asked, when will you sit down and make your very own comic? Well, Manuel, I'm going to tell you a very brief story. Now, when we were in high school, by the way, for those of y'all who don't know, Manuel and I went to the same high school, which is Homer High School. He was in the class of 99, I was in the class of 2000. I actually did work on one. And I wasn't very good at it. I mean, I was reading comics back then, but at the same time, I wasn't that great at it. It wasn't, especially the artwork. The comics art is hard. Oh my goodness, it's hard. I mean, I don't know how some of these artists from past and present, I don't see how they do it. Now the writing part, that's easy. And I think I'm a better writer than I'm an artist. And I've been, off and on, I've been working on this for 14 years, and I kept changing stuff. I was really never satisfied with anything I do. I mean, anything I've done from 1997 to 2011, I just wasn't satisfied with it. And I wasn't that good at comics art. Now, character designs, I can kick some butt at. I mean, don't mean to toot my own horn or anything, but as far as comics art, not very good. Although, I am willing to try again, and I'm willing to practice harder than I've ever practiced before. And then, if there's any comics artists out there that want to give me a few pointers that are watching this, or if you know any comics artists that are willing to give me a few pointers, I'm all ears, because it's been something that I've been wanting to get back to doing for a while, and I'm not above revisiting that. But yeah, Manuel, I do want to do that. And you know what? And I just want to go ahead and say this: if there's a passion that you may have, even if there's one that you haven't really committed to and you got away from it for a while, never be afraid to recommitting to it. And if there's a passion that you do have and you're not so sure, you know what? Always ask for guidance. Always ask for tutelage. Never give up on something, because if you give up on something, it's only going to be a matter of time before you start having regrets about giving up on it. All right, you know, that was a great question. Thanks, Manuel. If any of y'all have any questions for the any question segment, go ahead and ask. It could be anything to do with comics that I read, comics that I want to read, comics that I've never read, or anything pertaining to the show. Now, please, no personal questions and no tasteless or dumb questions. I will not answer those. I will not ask nor answer those. All right, now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is The Amazing Spider-Man number 89. Fantastic Four number 40. Hulk number 4. Thor number 22. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 126. Venom number 5. And finally, X-Men number 8. Alright, that's 7, which brings the total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 11,195. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode. And because it's Black History Month, this question pertains to black comic book characters and black publications. Who is the first black member of the X-Men? Now, this is a very easy question, and it's one that a lot of folks know. But for those of y'all who don't know, who want to answer this question, here are the hints. The first hint is that this character made their debut in John Size X-Men number 1 in 1975. The second hint, this character was once married to T'Challa, or the Black Panther. And then the third and final hint, Halle Berry played the role of this character in the first 3 X-Men movies that came out in 2000, 2003, and 2006. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Cassia Puckett from Tampa, Florida, who won a free tee on this week's episode. Alright, here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode, I'm going to end Mardi Gras with a bang by wearing this never before worn and never before seen Mardi Gras comic hero tee. And I'm going to try to do the show in time for Fat Tuesday. That way I won't kind of mess things up, because Fat Tuesday is the last day of the Mardi Gras season, and then Ash Wednesday is the beginning of Lent. So yeah. And then on that's episode 389. Now on episode 390, I'm going to raise awareness of a cause that I've never raised awareness before, and that's endometriosis. It's a condition that affects only women, and it's very common with over 200,000 cases per year here in the U.S. And then on episode 391, I'm going to raise awareness of multiple sclerosis, or MS. Now, really having fun with this with these Mardi Gras episodes. I hope y'all are enjoying everything from the Mardi Gras tablecloth to the beads and coins, and then also have the Mardi Gras tree, and then the Mardi Gras sign, and then I even have this very own Happy Mardi Gras flag, and I've had it here on the corner of the desk, and I decided to add that to the desk on this episode because if it's anything Mardi Gras, I'm going to show it off. I mean, this is one of my favorite holidays, one of my favorite carnival seasons. It's the favorite carnival seasons of a lot of folks that live here in Louisiana, and and I'm a Louisiana boy through and through, and if it's a holiday or has something to do with the state, I'm going to celebrate. Now, if y'all have any suggestions or anything that y'all think that's going to better the show, please let me know. Now, if it's anything like I should just stop doing the show, well, sorry, I'm not going to listen, because that's very negative, and I'm not about that life. If it's anything, but if it's anything that you think that will make the show better, I'm all ears. I mean, it may be my show, but the suggestions of others never fall upon deaf ears with me. Y'all know that. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And by all means, after you're done watching, please subscribe. I mean, this is probably one. I don't mean to toot my own horn or sound arrogant or whatever, but I believe this is one of the best shows that not enough folks are watching. Because I talk about my love of comics, and I also talk about my love of life. I mean, What more? I mean, what more can you ask for? All right, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 389, the final Mardi Gras episode of 2022. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.